like I've never been felt before. One look in your eyes, I found the one I've been waiting for. I'm feeling electric. All love is electric. The way that you make me feel like I've never been felt before. I'm feeling electric. Look in your eyes, I found the one I've been waiting for. I'm feeling electric.
Welcome, fans of the Babylon Smite League. Welcome back once again. We have a great matchup for you today. I'll be your host and chair number one for this game. I am Majag. Pleasure to meet you all if you have not met me before. And in chair number two, we have Cora.
Hello, I am Cora, and I will be chair number two.
All right. And as well, in the background, we have Yami doing the spectator and the streaming on the back end. We would not be able to do it without you and without your help, so thank you, Yami, for doing that for us. And today we've got a matchup between the Cyberpunk Otters and the team Far Out. I'm pretty excited about this game, and this is a Ishtar division match.
Yes, both of these rosters I'm actually well familiar of, and it's going to be very exciting. I have not seen Kai jungle against underclass hero. I feel like there are a lot of interesting matchups here to go over.
Yeah, this is definitely going to be a great game. Ishtar division matches are always fun to watch. This is going to be our highest division, of course, so hopefully some really good, high quality play that we're going to see here.
Yes. And as we are waiting on these picks and bans right now, Matt, are you familiar with any of these players here?
I am familiar with one of them. Like a year and a half ago, I played against Mythic Liquick in a Smite, one of the last Smite 1 tournaments. And that guy, he can freaking play. That's a good player right there. So I'm excited to see him now bumping up to higher divisions and really proving himself.
Yes, I did also play against Mythic Liquick. He is a phenomenal character. He is very fun to play with, very fun to play against, and I'm very excited to see what he can do here.
First bans are coming out here immediately. Far Out banning Neath and Cyberpunk Otters banning Aladdin. I don't think these bans are particularly surprising. How about you?
Neath Aladdin, pretty generic bans, is what we are here to see. The Kabrakin might be a more uh, direct ban here, and I feel like that could also be because of the new triple Kabrakin lifesteal build.
Yeah, I'm definitely a big fan of Kabrakin, so I'm not exactly surprised to see him banned. That's one of my favorite solo laners, actually, right now, because he's just so much fun. All that CC in his base kit that can really lock somebody down. Pretty much harder than just about anybody else in the game.
I definitely agree. That could be very frustrating to deal with. And now we also have a Sun Wukong ban coming out. How do
Another
you feel about the Wukong
very
ban?
Yeah, not exactly surprised to see there. Wukong, a super safe solo laner. Not exactly somebody who's easy to lock down in response to the Kraken being banned as well. Uh, Super safe character, hard to really lock down, like I said. We also see
May
the
the
Ares
gods
being
of
banned. We are
Valkyrie
going into
surround
the
you!
first picks here. Odin being the first pickup for Far Out. Very good solo laner, I think, here.
Yes, Odin is a very staple solo laner. We've seen him drop a bit recently
Tremble
due
beneath the
to his nerfs,
waves.
but he is still a high priority for a lot of these teams here.
In response, Far Out picking up Yamoja, probably for that support slot. I don't really think we see Yamoja anywhere outside of support.
I've got my eye on
They
you.
want to be spicy. They could
Time
go
to
Yemo into mid,
burn!
but they do also have Merlin, so that would be a odd composition to do.
And a bunch of picks being ripped off here. We immediately see Merlin from Cyberpunk Otters, and in response, Huyi and Agni picked up by Far Out. A very good pairing with that ADC and mid slot, and Cupid being picked up by Cyberpunk Otters. Which one of those picks is your favorite?
Uh, my favorite picks here are definitely the Hu Yi and the Agni picks together. I did think Hu Yi was going to be banned coming into this set here, and I am very surprised to see Cyberpunk Others letting this pick through.
Yeah, it got through 3 picks, which is kind of surprising considering how much of a threat that Hui is right now that we've seen lately. And we I'm sorry? Oh, Yorm was picked up, and unfortunately, we are not
Let's
able
liven
to
things up,
pick
shall we?
show Yorm on the screen here, as that's one of the newer characters. But we do
Even
see
gods must heed
Baron
the scales of
Samedi being
fate.
hovered and Nemesis being picked up by Far Out, probably for the support and jungle slots filling out that team.
I am really a big fan of this far out draft right here. For one, in like all the higher divisions, Nemesis is a super high prio. I did hear from individuals such as Tempo that Baron Samedi is getting a lot better right now. I'm unsure if this is for support, most likely for support, seeing the Agni.
Yeah, Baron Samedi, not a character that I think we see very often. That's actually one of my favorite characters in all of Smite. He's such a fun character to play.
Oh, yes, he is. He is one of my favorites as well. He has flair, style, and he welcomes you to the party.
I mean, we all love a good party. We are waiting to see what this last pick is. Cyberpunk Otters taking their time, trying to figure out what they want to fill this last slot of their team in with. And we do see a lock-in of the Thor.
To shatter
Great
mountains.
character, Thor, coming down with that Anvil of Dawn. Can really surprise some people if you're not paying attention to the skies.
All right, it seems like both these compositions I feel like are pretty well balanced. If I have to give one the edge here, I would probably lean a bit towards far out with meta bias. But I do think that Cyberpunk Others also have a very good balance of pressure and non-pressure lanes.
Yeah, I agree. There's a lot of decent lockdown here, I think, from Cyberpunk Otters. Yamoja with the big walls. Jormungandr's going to have his newly buffed knockup now that the height of that knockup has been increased. And then Thor coming out of nowhere, putting up walls as well. So quite a few walls and a couple knockups for Cyberpunk Otters that's going to have some CC. However, Far Out, in response, a lot of damage potential here with Agni and Hu Yi in their back line, and then the Odin walls. Surely we see a spectral shell for to counter that Odin wall.
I believe we are most definitely going to see shells coming out, maybe off of both sides here. We have a Yemo on one side, we have an Odin on another side. It could be very dangerous if one of these teams don't get a shell here.
Yeah, but my pick is also initially, I think Far Out's got the slightly better roster here. Hu Yi and Agni just going to be pumping out so much damage here. But hopefully Cyberpunk Otters can prove me wrong, because they also have a lot of CC, and if they can lock them down, then we'll be looking really good there. We are loading up into the game here. People going out and getting to their lanes, not really seeing anything too exciting yet. Is there anything of note that you can see in the initial build selections and item choices?
Yes, I am very interested to see the Baron Samedi here going Sunder. I think that is a very good choice off of Narwhal, because even though they have a Yemojo on the enemy team here, I feel like you really need that Sunder just for the dual lane presence for the Gold Fury.
Definitely, and we do see a Sunder on the other side as well, so pretty standard seeing a Sunder on each side. Narwhal kind of looking over the wall there, kind of hovering, seeing what people are doing, and looking for a response from Cyberpunk Otters that doesn't really come.
Yes, and now we see the red team here, which is Cyberpunk, sorry, Far Out, just gaining pressure here and not going for the buff immediately, which is kind of surprising since they do have good buff clear.
Yeah, they do clear that wave before the blue team shows up here. Narwhal hovering a little bit and not really looking for too much. Pretty standard early game here. A lot of fighting coming out in that solo lane. Mythic and Sonic over here losing a lot of HP very quickly.
Yeah, to be fair, Sonic on this Jormungandr pick is going to have immense pressure with Jormungandr early, and it's going to be a tough lane for Odin in the early game.
Yeah, not exactly surprising there. Interestingly enough, we don't see a blink coming from the far out roster. Nemesis choosing to take up that beads. A little bit more worried about CC, it seems, as they do have 3 beads on that side. Is that surprising to you as well, or is that pretty much expected?
That's expected for me. I feel like that Kai can, gain that distance just with Nemesis one. I don't believe Blink may be required for a lot of these plays here, even though it did get a tremendous buff recently.
Yeah, that huge buff. And we see Narwhal falling here to Cyberpunk Otters. The pressure coming out from that dual lane Cupid, getting that first blood, Sniffany. He's going to really like that big gold boost from getting first blood there on to Cyberpunk Otters.
And Sniffany is also going to need it when up against, a top tier character right now and top tier ADCs, such as Dr. Killjoy.
And we see another big death over in the solo lane. Mythic Quick, who initially seemed to be losing the pressure over there, does get the kill onto Sonic Refugee. Big swing there as well. Odin's gonna really enjoy that lead in the solo lane. So even 1-1 here, pretty early into the game with some big pressure.
Yes, hopefully Sonic doesn't get too far behind in this matchup. Because if you're behind as Jormungandr, that slow is proccing the Jormungandr passive, and he is taking a lot of damage from that.
Yeah, that shield explosion does so much, and Kai coming in from the back, and Sonic Refugee not having any movement here. He is certainly going to die once again. Sonic Refugee is now 0-2, 3 minutes into this game. That is not going to feel good for Jormungandr, who really needs some early pressure and some early lead to apply that aggression. And Dr. Killjoy also getting absolutely stunned out here, and a lot of damage coming out. Beads has to be burned, but he is going to be able to walk away.
A lot of action coming out of this early game right now, where we're having deaths happening in the solo lane continuously, continuous action going out of the dual lane, and now we also do see Hercules hovering over here.
Underclass Hero pressuring out that dual lane, making sure that his team can get this purple buff, stealing purple from the Huyi. They're going to want that lead and keep that Huyi down in this early game. They don't want Huyi to get a big lead early.
Yeah, Huyi early is set for domination, essentially. It is so difficult to fight Dr. Killjoy if he gets a lead on this Huyi.
Absolutely cannot agree more. However, Dr. Killjoy is perfectly comfortable here, pretty standard farming. We aren't seeing any of the first items here quite yet. Still a little bit early. We might see some of those starting to come out. Is there anything early in these builds, these T1, T2s, that kind of indicate something unusual for you?
In these T1, T2s, I'm assuming both of these ADCs early are either going to opt for maybe a Devours, maybe a Tearfing, or a Sunbeam Bow. Those are my predictions going out of these T1, T2 items, and we do see Nifany go for a Learning Bow.
Learning Bow, very interesting. We do see 3 people here in the mid lane. Hercules kind of steps up a little to try and get that steal. Didn't look like he did, though. Takes a lot of damage. And on the solo lane there, we saw Jormungandr once again getting pressured out. Has to rip that World Serpent in order to escape and live again.
I am very curious to see how Sonic is going to salvage this lane apart right now. Odin with a lead versus Jormungandr without a lead. That is a very tough matchup at this time, going into the late early game, transition into the mid game right now.
Yeah, and it looks like Odin picked up a Mystic Lash, which is going to increase that pressure that he already has even more. Mystic Lash been a item of controversy lately, as it's seen 2 nerfs already, and still seems to be a pretty good item. And we do see a Gold Fury being pulled here by the Cyberpunk Otters, but Far Out has eyes on it, and the Gold Fury has to be dropped. Fields of Love gets popped out. Baron takes a lot of damage. Narwhal going to fall to freak itself. Underclass Hero has to get out because he's super low. Yamoja ult coming out as well. Big, lot of chaos going out here all over the place. Freak itself does fall to Kai. Kai is hovering here. Cupid has to pop the Aegis, but there's nowhere else to go. Dashes into the wall. He's going to fall as well. Sniffany falling to Kai. Kai getting 3 kills in this sequence, and certainly far out going to pull this Gold Fury and get a lead here. Big lead.
This is a tremendous lead they just got from far out here. They're now, Cyberpunk Otters are now pulling the Gold Fury, and they will claim the Gold Fury's life here.
Yep, Gold Fury going to go to our blue side here. Quick also got a kill, another kill onto the Jormungandr in the solo lane. Quick building up a big lead. Kai building up a big lead. Absolutely, this early game pressure that the blue side is applying is just absolutely stunning here.
Now, looking at these teams here, Far Out and Cyberpunk Otters, I'm curious to see how Far Out can salvage this 2k differential right now, or let's say a 1.5k differential.
Yeah, we are looking at that 1.5k differential there. Nobody really looking at anything right now. So pretty slow going into this early mid game. However, Hercules is hovering off to the side in this mid lane, potentially looking for something, but Biohazard playing it super safe. Not really any opportunities there.
That is fair, and we just see a lot of hovering right now, a lot of passiveness after, let's say, immediate fighting for the first, 7 minutes of the game.
Kai pulling the ult out on Underclass Hero gets absolutely deleted. Baron, life of the party, does get pulled. Didn't really need it either. So 2 ultimates for that kill onto Underclass Hero. Fields of Love coming out into the duo lane. Big fight starting here. Didn't really get anything out of it. And Kai is here to chase. Cupid no longer has that dash. Yamoja Wall isn't going to save his life. That is another kill for our blue side here.
So I have to say, I did immediately say everyone was being passive for the past minutes, and then immediate chaos erupt.
Immediate chaos indeed. And once again, blue side building their lead again. Multiple deaths for our chaos side. They're really not having any opportunity to even find a good fight here.
Yes, right now, Cyberpunk Otters do have this 1.5k lead, and I don't think, that's that bad. 9 minutes in, Far Out can definitely make a quote-unquote comeback. They've just been hovering and been slightly out of position at times. But I don't think it's that bad. A 1.5k gold lead, they could definitely come back from.
Biohazard dashing into that lane and doesn't even care about the damage that Narwhal is putting out on him and just walks away through the enemy team struggle. Quick getting a little aggressive here onto this blue buff. 2 people are here, and there is follow-up on the way. The wall comes out, but Quick got a little too aggressive. That is going to be a kill for our Chaos side on that blue buff.
And that goes to show how much of a gold lead Quick had immediately when he died. Look at that gold spike that happened. That was a massive, it wasn't like an in-game shutdown, but they did get massive rewards from punishing that aggression.
Yeah, that definitely evens this game up. We are now 10 minutes into this game. It is 7-3 so far on the kills. And our order side, the lead has completely evaporated here. And big aggression coming out. Life of the party has to get pulled, trying to save the life of his mid laner, but there's nowhere to run for Biohazard. He does fall. Kai coming in for the counter gank, however. Freak itself falling to Baron Samedi. Kai chasing down Underclass Hero. That is 2 for 1 for our order side, and taking that lead right back with now a 1,500 gold lead 10 minutes into this game, 9-4, as they go to pull Gold Fury.
I have to say, Cyberpunk Otters are very, very good with these team fights right now. They are punishing hovering, and they are punishing far out, just being out of position, under continuously punished.
Absolutely. And Gold Fury does fall to our order side. However, there's a couple people kind of low here. Kai jumps in, looking for that. Cupid falls to Biohazard, getting that kill. Sonic Refugee getting absolutely deleted. Kai getting that kill as well. Two more people dead for the Chaos side. Kai very low here. And Denny pops up over that wall, helping get that kill. Freak itself getting the credit for Kai there, and that's going to be a big shutdown as Kai was 5-0 there for the Chaos side.
Yeah, I could see Kai being a prio kill for them. That was a massive cleanup coming out far out. And again, we are seeing quite a difference in gold now, though, coming out of Cyberpunk Otters.
Ring of Spears comes out by the Odin. Far Out has nowhere to run. Underclass Hero is going to fall. Freak itself also going to fall to this Agni. Big kills there for Cyberpunk Otters.
Every time I believe Far Out has a way back into this game, just Cyberpunk Otters proves me wrong and just starts W-keying them immediately.
Yeah, very, very aggressive game so far, as Cyberpunk Otters does pull that Pyromancer. Sonic Refugee kind of hovering a little, trying to see what he can get here, but Mythic Quick and Baron Samedi completely spacing him out. World Serpent does have to get ripped because Sonic Refugee does almost fall there, and Cyberpunk Otters are going to grab that Pyromancer and increase their lead even further.
Now, Mad, what do you think of these builds coming out of these solo laners right now? We have Sanguines and Transcendence versus, I believe that is Pearl and Erosion, if I'm not, or Triton's Conch, sorry.
Yeah, Triton's Conch and Erosion. Triton's Conch is an item that I feel like we don't see very often. Erosion, not exactly surprising, seeing Anti-Shield come out against an Odin. Odin having that big shield on his 2. However, Transcendence on Odin I feel like is a little unusual. Narwhal running up here and a bunch of ults coming out. Narwhal got a little too greedy there, as Far Out do get that kill onto the Baron Samedi and look to be trying to take this tower, but Biohazard trying to defend it. Damage coming out, but not quite enough to really get any kills, but I think that he is going to successfully defend that T1 tower. Kai, however, jumping in onto this Cupid on his purple buff. Cupid having to dash out. Aegis coming out by Sniffany. They are going to dive that tower. Sniffany is going to fall to Dr. Killjoy, and that's probably going to be a tower on the left side taken, unless Denny has something to say about it.
Yes, they really are hard prioing Sniffany's lane right now. They do not want Sniffany to gain that momentum he did early, and they are making sure this Huyi can go online.
They definitely want to get that Huyi online. Kai coming in for the gank here onto Freak Itself. Freak Itself needing to run away. He's so low, waiting for that blink to come up, but it does not come up in time. Kai does get the kill onto Freak Itself and looking for more onto Denny as he is trying to run to the safety of his tower.
And now what we're seeing here is 5 Cyberpunk Otters up and 4 Far Out up. The question is, are they going to step for the Gold Fury right now and just out pressure the duo lane?
It certainly looks like they're setting up for it, and they definitely have the pressure in order to do so. Cupid does take a lot of damage here. Big ults coming out. Fields of Love, Life of the Party getting ripped. Excavate coming out from Underclass Hero. Dr. Killjoy is so low. Sniffany does fall. Dr. Killjoy somehow manages to escape there. And now the rest of Cyberpunk Otters gets that tower and gets the kill onto Underclass Hero as they are going to start rotating over to this Gold Fury. And Far Out doesn't really, I think, have anything to say about this.
Fantastic gank or flank coming out from McThicklick Quick there. Great cage. As I said, they went for the dueling pressure and... Oh? Okay, they are not going to be contesting this. This is a free Gold Fury.
Definitely not. McThickly Quick holding the line there, making sure that nobody from the Chaos side can even get anywhere close to it. However, Cyberpunk Otters looking for this kill here onto the Yamoja. A lot of damage coming out. Yamoja walls do get ripped. McThickly Quick on the chase, however, so much damage coming out from this own does get the kill. However, he's kind of out there on his own. Freak itself looking for that last bit of damage. Underclass Hero gets the credit for that Odin, and a tower gets taken for Cyberpunk Otters. Jormungandr is in the area. Pyromancer does get pulled. Jormungandr kind of hovering, trying to look for an opportunity. Is he going to have anything? A lot of damage coming out. Pyromancer does get dropped. Freak itself getting a little bit of poke onto Kai, but he's at half health, so he has to be very careful here. Blink coming out from Underclass Hero, tries to get the knockup, misses, and so much damage coming out onto him. Gets a little bit too greedy. Biohazard gets the credit for that. Aegis, or not Aegis, beads have to get popped by Freak itself, and it does not save his life. World Serpent has to escape with the World Serpent so that he can stay alive, and only 2 people get lost in this fight instead of more.
Good news is Far Out stopped Cyberpunk Otters from doing the Pyromancer, as they go immediately back on it again, though, after resetting, so that might have been all in vain.
Definitely certainly seems like it. Far Out not really having the people or the pressure in order to contest that. We are 17 minutes into this game. Cyberpunk Otters are currently 20-7 so far, with a 6,000 gold lead and 3 gold furies. Absolutely dominating this game so far.
It does seem interesting. I mean, Far Out did trade at least the Queen Naga in exchange for the Pyromancer. Not a great trade, but at this point, when you're 70-20, you have to find the scraps you can to get at least somewhat back into the game.
I cannot agree more. You're not going to be able to really contest those major objectives, but you have to try and find minor objectives. And if there's multiple main objectives available at the same time, trying to trade those instead of actually fighting for the one that you can't really contest for when you're so far behind. Just try and find whatever scraps you can.
The good news is that Far Out has a very late game draft here with this Merlin, with this Yamoja, and they are super team fight oriented. All they have to do is survive, and they may be able to manage a defense.
Underclass Hero thought he was getting the jump onto Kai, but gets absolutely deleted. All that damage coming from Kai as he goes in onto this Cupid. Cupid trying to dash away, but not quite fast enough. Stun comes out from Biohazard. Aegis kind of saves his life there. Kai gets the aggression on the tower, has to dash out. Cupid still alive by the skin of his teeth. That Aegis absolutely saved his life. But Narwhal on the back end, I didn't even see him. Runs around, gets that final damage. However, he is probably going to die here in response, but the loss of a support for a carry is absolutely worth it. Narwhal does fall. Danny getting absolutely shredded here as the rest of Cyberpunk Otters do come in to try and help their support, but doesn't save his life. Denny is still alive. Kai looking for a little bit more, gets that shield, gets the kill onto Freak itself. Nowhere is safe for Far Out.
Yes, right. Oh?
Underclass Hero getting that dash in and does absolutely nothing as he is melted immediately. Jormungandr also dying there. There's only a couple people left to defend anything. However, Cyberpunk Otters is pretty low here, so I don't know how much they can push this Phoenix. But there is a Gold Fury up to grabs that it looks like they are starting to head towards that direction.
You know, every time I believe there is a way for Far Out to like come back in this game right now, Cyberpunk Otters just keeps on putting the pressure on. They are not giving Far Out a chance to breathe currently.
Yeah, it seems like Kai is absolutely controlling this game. Denny trying to look for the steal, but that support damage isn't really going to be much of an option. Jumps over this wall. Kai is around on the other side for the chase. Denny, where do you have to run? Absolutely nowhere. But a little bit more, tries to get that jump out. He's very low, but still on the run. Denny probably is going to fall here. but the rest of his team is in the area. Life of the party comes out, tries to get that kill. Kai does get the credit, but falls to Freak itself. The pull coming in onto this guy here in the middle. Narwhal gets absolutely destroyed by Freak itself. The counterplay by far out. Biohazard is on the run. He is super low, cannot stay here. Dr. Killjoy is looking to get jumped on by Cupid, but that stun and so much damage from this Hu Yi. Quick looking for the chase here onto Merlin, gets the stun. Walls coming out. Freak itself is going to fall to Quick. Quick still hovering, looking for more. Jormungandr gets hit by the stun. A lot of damage coming out. Dr. Killjoy does get the kill onto Underclass Hero. Underclass Hero keeping looking for these opportunities, but falling instead himself. Quick looking for Sonic Refugee. Sonic Refugee trying to get the counter kill onto Hu Yi. Dr. Killjoy kind of has to escape. World Serpent does get ripped, and he really needs to escape here, as Biohazard is there for the chase. Stun gets hit. 2 of the ultimate shots do hit, but not quite enough to get the kill onto Sonic Refugee, and this fight finally looks like it's starting to calm down.
Now, coming out of that humongous fight that just occurred, which team do you think got the overall benefits? Because on one hand, Far Out, got some shutdowns, right? But on the other hand, they weren't able to salvage any farm because of the continuous fighting while just down in XP and gold.
Yeah, the fight lasted so long, and Cyberpunk Otters also getting credit for the Pyromancer here as well, which is also going to kill a tower, going to increase their lead even further. Unfortunately, I don't think Far Out got their kills cleanly enough to actually, shorten that lead, as it looks like Fire Giant is being hovered around. Big fight starts to stop here. Sonic Refugee taking a lot of damage, hasn't been CC'd yet. Ring of Spears comes out, tries to catch him. Doesn't really matter that he wasn't in it at all. Damage coming out. Life of the party looking for Denny. Denny does get stunned. A lot of damage coming out from this Agni. Denny sitting at half health. Tries to get out. Quick onto Underclass Hero. Underclass Hero almost getting the kill onto Odin. Not quite enough. Biohazard does get the kill before Odin falls. So that is 2-0 for Cyberpunk Otters as they go to pull this Fire Giant.
This is very interesting here, how Far Out keeps on, hovering these objectives. They keep hovering these fights instead of just farming, right? There has to be a point where Far Out has to say, okay, let's slow down, let's take all the neutral experience, and let's give something up. But they just don't want to.
Definitely, they keep trying to fight, trying to look for these opportunities to try and even it out. Freak itself on the run here as Cyberpunk Otters smell blood, and they are chasing him down, trying to look for him. They do see him. Freak itself. Oh, we do. Looks like a little bit of a DC there for a second. Freak itself is able to run into that bush and get the back off, as Cyberpunk Otters looks to be waiting for this Gold Fury to come up here in 10 seconds.
And with Cyberpunk's lead here, what do you think is the next course of action Cyberpunk Otters are going to take to extend this lead after this Gold Fury?
Now that they have Fire Giant and they're going to grab this Gold Fury for free, almost certainly they're going to push either this left or this mid lane. I would assume left lane. Typically people go to side lanes before the middle lane. Though a couple backs coming out, so they might reset before doing that and pressuring one of these Phoenixes.
I see. Maybe they're slightly afraid of Symphony just split pushing this Phoenix, just want to push out all the Phoenixes, and they probably believe their Phoenixes are free due to the Gold Fury enhancement of the weakingness.
Symphony definitely looking for farm wherever he can. Doing what we were actually just suggesting, trying to find these scraps wherever he can in order to get back up to level 20 and have more of an impact on this game.
Yes, especially the Jormungandr. Right now, if anyone goes on this Jormungandr, any form of CC is going to shred Sonic. He has to be very careful with his positioning. So
Symphony getting caught out here. Fields of Love do get popped, but it is not going to save his life, as Kai and Dr. Killjoy completely run him down. got a little bit too out there on his own. Probably didn't have vision in order to see the people collapsing on him. Does fall for that. Cyberpunk Otters are going to group up onto this left side, start pushing this Phoenix. Far Out is grouping up, try and counter this. However, McThick Quick on the split push into this right side. He does have that dagger, so he's going to have a lot of damage onto this tower. Big damage coming out. Underclass Hero getting absolutely destroyed. Life of the party from this Baron Samedi. He's super low, probably going to die to that tower. Freak itself getting the credit. Another death. World Serpent going to come out, try and space out here, get a lot of damage, but the Phoenix does fall. Denny, super low, has to be very careful. Freak itself almost dying there, has to blink out, just barely gets away. Biohazard looking for a little bit more, but decide better of it, as they do get the credit for both the right and the left Phoenix, and shift over to this mid lane. 4 people still alive from Far Out, and 4 people for Cyberpunk Otters, but so much damage coming out. Anytime Far Out steps up even a little bit, half their HP is gone before they even realize what just happened. So Sniffany having to back off. Jormungandr kind of stepping up a little. Biohazard, the only one in the area immediately to counteract that, but Beads gets ripped by Sonic. Not going to save his life, though. Goes back to the black and gray. He's going to fall as well, but Underclass Hero is back up in order to try and help this final push here. Cyberpunk Otters looking for this game end. Underclass Hero is going to fall as he's stuck inside the Ring of Spears. Kai looks for the Cupid, but Cupid is going to dash out and sit under that fountain, and he's going to survive. No Phoenix is here from Far Out. The push still hovering around, just waiting for the right opportunities from Cyberpunk Otters. Fire Giant is still up for 10 seconds, but that is probably going to fall here before the end of this game. Denny is going to try and hover here and try and stop them. Fields of Love, CC coming out. Huyi has to go up into the air, but he is going to fall. Freak itself getting the kill, but it is not going to stop the end of this game as Cyberpunk Otters finish off that Titan and start this series off 1-0.
Yeah, I guess for Far Out, a win was too far out of the way.
Yeah, it was definitely Far Out. Cyberpunk Otters just had complete control of this game from minute 0. That Huyi, that Kali, or Kai on the Nemesis, just absolutely murdering everybody, not to mention Biohazard as well. Just complete domination in all 3 lanes.
Yes, I completely agree. And, you know, McThickly Quick holding down his lane, getting all these solo kills, and that requires, you know, that allows both teams to focus on this duo lane. And, you know, as we can see, Cyberpunk Otters came on top of this duo lane. Dr. Killjoy, 8-1, Kai, 10-2, and we could really see how the numbers reflect.
Cannot agree more. Kai definitely instrumental in that win, dealing the most damage for his team. Just nobody could do anything about that Nemesis in actuality. So definitely a strong performance by Cyberpunk Otters. All right, thank you all for joining for Game 1. We will be right back here in a moment for Game number 2. Welcome back to game number 2 between Far Out and Cyberpunk Otters. Cyberpunk Otters are now 1-0 after that complete domination of a game 1. Complete and utter bloodbath in that one. Very aggressive play from Cyberpunk Otters and Far Out. Very exciting game. So hopefully we keep that up for game number 2.
And coming amongst the picks and bans here, I wonder what Far Out is going to do differently in this game rather than last game to see if they could pull out a win here.
Unsurprisingly, we are immediately seeing that counter pick of the Odin. Getting that pulled off of McThicklet quick absolutely makes sense. He utterly dominated that solo lane and made it a major problem.
And in return, we are also seeing a Wukong ban, which isn't surprising, followed by Aladdin.
Yeah, pretty standard bans there. Aladdin still being a bit of a problem. Very high damage character there. Kabrakan coming out in the bans for Far Out here.
Far Out does not want to see these Cyberpunk otters on this Kabrakan. They've made that known with a Tsukiyomi ban and a Ares ban coming out of Cyberpunk otters.
I'm completely surprised we didn't see a Nemesis counter ban after that game 1. Kai absolutely was destroying people with that Nemesis. Do you think we see Cyberpunk Otters pick that up again here?
If I was Cyberpunk otters, I would not try to fix what's not broken. I would most likely lock in that Nemesis. It's a very strong pick.
Time to
We'll
burn!
see with this Agni first
I've got
pick
my eye on you.
and Hu Yi coming out of the Cyberpunk otters.
Yeah, picking up those same two backliners that they had so much success with in game 1, Agni and Huyi absolutely makes sense for Cyberpunk Otters here. It worked so well, why not take them again, making sure that the Far Out side cannot steal those away from them.
Now, what is Far Out going to do in order to deal with these backliners? Last game, Sniffany had a slight lead near the level 2 mark, but he did fall very behind once they started prioritizing dual lane.
Get to the
I really
chaka!
want to see them take the
Tremble
Nemesis,
beneath the waves.
and unfortunately they do not, instead opting for Chalk and Yamoja here, grabbing their frontliners. Nemesis still up for grabs for Cyberpunk Otters. Far Out not really doing anything to respond to Kai's strong play on that in game 1.
Even gods must heed the
With
scales
this
of
Yamoja
fate.
Coming out,
Let's liven
there we
things
see the
up, shall we?
Nemesis, and there we see the Baron. They are running it back.
Yeah, completely running back the pretty much the same roster here, Cyberpunk Otters. The only thing that they are going to have to swap up is that Odin, because the Odin did get banned away by Far Out, seemingly putting a higher priority on McThicklequick's Odin instead of Kai's Nemesis.
I am very surprised at this Yamoja pick because Baron does have a very good matchup versus this Yamoja in lane, and to see them run it back after what they saw last game.
Let the sound of
is criminal.
slaughter begin!
It is kind of, yeah, unfortunately, but we will see a Kali grab here from Far Out. Kali looking for that super late game hyper carry, and Bologna coming out as well.
Hmm.
Who's the carry here? It's the Kali. They're
Kali?
doing Kali carry, yeah. Aspect Kali probably going to get used here for the Far Out carry. Super late game hyper carry there with the Kali. Seems like Far Out playing for that late game.
Bologna jungle? I mean, it can definitely work. I am surprised because I did think they were going to choose a different jungle option here.
Yeah, I thought so as well, but certainly
I
would be
will
certain
hunt you
very
down!
Interesting as we see Mordred picked up for Cyberpunk Otters. And immediately at first glance, I gotta give this draft to Cyberpunk Otters again. Getting that core of Nemesis Huyi Agni on the repeat in game 2. It worked so well in game 1, why would it stop working in game 2?
Maybe this Odin ban switches the entire composition up. We did see Cupid get a early kill in the dual lane last time. Possibly there'll be also a difference within the pressure of Bologna and Nemesis, but we can only wait to see.
We will definitely have to wait and see, and hopefully this game is going to be as exciting as Game 1 was. But immediately giving the nod over to Cyberpunk Otters, we'll have to see what Far Out changes in their playstyle in Game 2 in order to respond to how well Cyberpunk Otters did in Game 1, and giving them pretty much the same roster with the only change being that solo laner. We are going to go right into this game as we do see the picks, the items starting to get picked up here for both teams. Anything interesting that you are seeing here immediately?
I do see two Sunders coming out far out. They do not require that shell now, so they're going to have a lot more presence on these objectives, and maybe that's what they believe will give them the edge here.
Maybe it will be. So that is going to give them a lot of pressure onto these objectives, and they also seem to have a lot of shred. Grabbing that Bologna for their jungler with the auto attack Bologna, that's a lot of damage coming out with the support of the Kali. That's a lot of objective shred. I cannot agree more on that. So hopefully Far Out can get some more of these objectives, because I don't think they got a single one in Game 1.
And the enemy team has agreed to a surrender.
They have surrendered. Oh, okay. We are having some issues here with the lobby, it seems. Kai having some issues getting booted from the lobby, so they are going to restart that lobby, and we will get you guys back into the game as quickly as possible. We will see you here in a moment as we get these issues resolved. Welcome back after those technical issues. We should be able to get you guys back into this game pretty quickly here. They are going to go through the pick and ban process super fast here, trying to get us back into that game.
All right, hopefully we'll have no more resets here, and we will dive right into the action going into this game right now.
Smite 2 is absolutely a fantastic game. We love Smite 2, but being a game that is still in early access, there is occasionally some issues. We try and handle those as best we can, and we are getting right back into this game. We probably won't see anything super different at the start of this. Pretty much everything's going to be as expected, I imagine. Oh, we do see one difference, however. Bologna, foregoing that aspect, is not going to use that aspect in this game, unlike how we initially saw in the first version.
Maybe that's the bug that occurred. But anyways, going into this game right now, we are going to see the two Sunders again, and we are going to see the Shell again. Now, the question is, can Yemoja pull off a kill on this Huyi or Baron Samedi with the ultimate in the early game? It supplies a lot of pressure, and I feel like Yemo clear is absolutely bonkers. But with Huyi having a leap, It's going to be slightly difficult in that matchup there.
Yeah, I cannot agree more. Huyi, very slippery character with that leap, especially now that it has the extra movement that it had super early in Smite 1's history. Getting that back and able to move around again makes him very hard to kill in the early game. But you're right, Yemoja does have a lot of damage. Being able to spam those abilities, since Yemoja does not have mana.
It could be very good here. I am curious to see these jungle starts with both junglers are starting. We have seen new routes in the new patch here, and I want to see if they're mirroring each other or not. And it seems like they are taking two completely different routes, Kai and Underclass Hero. Or are they?
How are they? Kai is switching back over to the soul lane side where Bologna is also starting. So we may be looking at identical starts here from both sides.
Maybe they were afraid of someone invading the speed buff there, so Kai was hovering.
That could be entirely possible. We're going to see some pretty standard initial clearing and poking here in the start of this game. Denny getting aggressive immediately. A lot of damage coming out onto that Huyi. Not going to really have any kill pressure here, but using that free damage that Yemoja has early with the ability to spam his one with no cooldown.
Denny's auto attacks are chunking right here. Again, this Yemoja pressure for the early game will be a problem for the Cyberpunk Otters.
Yeah, they're definitely playing for that aggression, grabbing that war flag. Sonic Refugee taking a lot of damage from McThickLeQuick, but not really much kill potential here. Quite a bit of damage coming out, but both people going to back off, and McThickLeQuick going to grab that side farm.
Now, the neutrals, I believe Denny did steal that with an auto attack. I could be mistaken. However, we're gonna probably see just some average clear here, not much. There some hovering in mid, just some typical early game things.
Yeah, typical early game sparring, a lot of poke, a lot of pressure, trying to look for this farm. Nothing really that surprising yet. Baron Samdi does take a lot of damage to Dr. Killjoy as well. Order side with a lot of pressure so far in this early game, far out. A little bit of a difference here, as we do see Kai starting to look over here, probably just going to grab this farm and walk away, but might look for a gank. No, he's going to choose to back. Bologna is in the area. Back gets canceled by Emoja. Kai dashing in to Sniffany, looks for that damage. Underclass Hero also looking for an opportunity, but not really any potential there as both sides start to back off.
No, both sides just showing face, just saying, hey, we will match your rotations right now if you become aggressive. And they're showing, even if they have pressure, their nemesis will still show face, right? Kai will still be there.
Cannot agree more. Sonic Refugee getting absolutely pushed out here pretty consistently by McThickLeQuick. Not really that surprising after seeing that game one. McThickLeQuick, such a great soul lane player. Really excited to see him succeeding so far. Freak itself does get jumped on here, has to pop the beads, but able to get out. Looking for that World Weaver. Goes over to the soul lane as Underclass Hero is ganking McThickLeQuick. McThickLeQuick trying to run away. A little bit low, has the dash, still trying to escape. Is he going to succeed? It certainly looks like he might be able to. Disarm comes out, but McThickLeQuick able to dash away and survive that gank as multiple ults come out to try and kill him.
That does have to hurt far out. Using Freak itself ultimate just to try to lock the Bologna down in the, or not the Bologna, my apologies, the Mordred down in the jungle there for McThickLeQuick just to walk out and say, okay, you can burn ultimates on me. I'm fine.
Yeah, and he's perfectly fine, able to get that back off. And really no harm, no foul, as we don't see any deaths so far. Definitely a little less exciting than game one was. I think at this point we already had like 3 deaths in game one, as Kai does look for that gank onto Freak itself, but really no opportunities there, even with the stun coming out from Biohazard. Really no opportunities there.
Far Out, what they're doing right now is they're slowing down the pacing, and they're like, all right, let's take a back seat, a back step here, and we are going to macro this map, and we're gonna macro it well.
Life of the
And
party
that is-
getting ripped onto Denny. Denny is going to fall. That damage coming out from Dr. Killjoy and Narwhal able to get that kill. As we see McThicklequick also looking for that damage onto Sonic Refugee, popping that ultimate, but not able to get the kill on that side. But we are going to see first blood for Cyberpunk Otters, Narwhal getting that credit.
Those are the level 5 spikes there. Once you have that Hu Yi and that Baron Samedi hitting level 5, life of the party, Far Out is not going to be the life of that party. They're most likely going to be the death of that party.
Absolutely. World Weaver getting popped out here, going over to that dual lane side. A lot of damage coming out onto Narwhal and Dr. Killjoy. Narwhal very low and has no mana. Looking for him. Narwhal trying to run away. Denny on the trace does get the stun. A little bit of damage coming out. One more auto. That is going to kill Narwhal. Sunder getting popped in order to secure that kill.
That was still a great stun by Dr. Killjoy to try to get his support to live. Unfortunately, Narwhal still fell to the Yemoja Sunder and Yemo abilities.
Absolutely. Freak itself getting a little pressure onto Biohazard here, but not really able to get anything as Biohazard does have some CC to respond. A little bit more poking here. The game's starting to slow down again. We are starting to see these first items coming out. Anything interesting that you're seeing here, as we do see a few items getting picked up?
I do see that Gemma Focus here. I do think that is a very interesting first item. I have not seen that done a lot, and I'm curious to see what that'll become. Also, you see on the opposite side, Transcendence on Neath. I have not seen that in a while, especially if you're going Intelligence. I assume Freak itself is going to go for that Transcendence Book of Thoth build that we were seeing back in maybe March of this year.
Not exactly surprising. That's a pretty classic Neath style build. Gemma Focus, pretty good, I think, here, as we do see some hovering around Gold Fury. Biohazard gets jumped a little bit, has to pop that beads to run away. Dr. Killjoy getting absolutely destroyed there for a second. Super low. Narwhal also having to run away. Underclass Hero has to be a little bit careful here. Stun coming out, but Kai is going to get the credit for that kill. Life of the party pulling somebody in. Meanwhile, in solo lane, Sonic Refugee getting a kill onto McThicklequick, but Cyberpunk Otters are going to get the cleanup on everyone else here on the left side. 1 for 3 as Cyberpunk Otters are going to be able to grab this Gold Fury.
Cyberpunk Otters, they already have a lot of chemistry with this comp already. They're running back essentially the same comp as last game, and these team fights, they're really mirroring last game what happened.
Yep, we are definitely going to see that a little bit of a mirror. However, Sonic Refugee actually getting the first kill into solo lane instead of McThicklequick getting that first kill. You think that could potentially give Far Out a little bit more of a chance to get out of this early game compared to last time when every lane was losing?
I feel like it'll give them a bit more leverage. I don't believe that McThicklequick will be soloing Sonic like last game. I feel like the Chog versus Mordred matchup is a bit more in the favor of... Actually, I feel like that is a pretty even matchup there.
As we do see the Sunbreaker coming out from Hu Yi, locking down Denny. Denny not having any way to escape that. A lot of damage coming out. Has to pop the River's Rebuke and is able to escape freely there. But a couple of ultimates getting popped on both sides.
As we see all those ultimates come out, we also see that Kai is hovering the solo lane, seeing if he can find any opportunities here, maybe for a dive. But he's probably just going to just stand there for a while until his farm comes up, and then probably just farm again.
Kai being very patient. Sonic Refugee kind of thinking about stepping up, but is going to continue to play his tower line. using that heal to try and sustain himself. Kai eventually giving up, having to back away, losing too much farm if he sticks around for too long. But Underclass Hero is now here in order to counter that. Not really any opportunities there, however. Just going for a quick poke with that Scourge.
Now, after all the hovering, we're gonna just see Freak itself and Biohazard just probably clearing the mid wave. You see Denny rotating just to support Freak itself a bit more. And that's going to leave a 1v2 in the dual lane right now, though.
Absolutely. The Sniffany getting completely jumped on by Kai and Dr. Killjoy. That World Weaver coming out of mid lane is not going to save his life. Not quite fast enough. Just too much damage coming from Kai and Dr. Killjoy. As we do see Underclass Hero try and create an opportunity in mid lane as they jump onto this Baron Samedi, but Baron is just so tanky there. Not really any opportunity for a kill, and a lot of sustain coming out. Kai on the counter gank. Freak itself gets completely deleted. Where did his health bar go?
Now, for a lot of these fights happening right now, right, we do see Underclass Hero initiating most of these fights, but I am still uncertain about the target selection on Narwhal there. Narwhal, very, very tanky currently, takes a lot of burst, and Bologna, you know, versus more traditional junglers, she isn't going to have that same burst in the early game.
Yeah, not in this early game, as those auto attack builds take some time to get online. And unsurprisingly, seeing the Book of Thoth come out from the Neath, exactly as you predicted, going for that double stacking build.
Yes, and I am very curious to see what the ADCs will build into next as well, looking at the other builds. We see both Sunbeams this game, as opposed to, let's say, the Lernians we saw last game. So it is quite interesting. These ADCs are kind of mirroring each other in a way.
Not exactly that surprising. Sunbeam Bow is a great item. Narwhal looking over here into this dual lane side, coming in from the back. Sniffany is going to get jumped by Narwhal, but able to jump away. Not really any threat. Life of the party is going to pull him so far, though. Absolutely getting destroyed. Underclass Hero on the counter gank is going to find the kill onto Narwhal. Denny is looking a little bit for more, but Dr. Killjoy able to jump away. That elusive nature of Hu Yi, not really going to have any opportunities there to get revenge for Sniffany.
Alright, I'm starting to see the appeal of this Bologna jungle underclass picked. He's looking to ult in, use that Dagger Frenzy, and get those Tearfing procs off on his target. It could very much well work. It's just the first couple of levels will always be difficult with the Bologna base damage.
Cyberpunk Otters are looking over here on this Gold Fury side as they do pull that objective far out. I'm not even sure they even know that it's happening here, as there's completely no response. Well, they are going over to that Pyromancer side. Maybe they're just going to grab that trade for Pyromancer instead of contesting the Gold Fury. So we are going to see Gold Fury go to Cyberpunk Otters and Pyromancer going to far out, which is more than they got in game one. Denny is going to get jumped on here. CC coming out. Denny has absolutely nowhere to go. He is going to sit back to the black and gray.
I do enjoy Far Out at least exchanging objectives instead of trying to contest a losing fight. Unfortunately, Denny did get caught out there, but at least Far Out salvaged something.
Sonic Refugee is going to try and jump Narwhal here, but that Baron Samedi is just so tanky. They really aren't able to get that much damage out on him as Kai swings around, tries to get some damage onto Sonic, but that Chalk, super tanky and able to sustain up. Not really going to have any opportunities there either.
Looking at
Sniffany
the...
is going to get jumped here, though, and is able to walk away freely as Dr. Killjoy missed that stun. So Sniffany not really under threat there. If he had got stunned there, might have been a bit more of a threat, but not too bad.
Looking at these picks here, who do you think on the Cyberpunk other side is most prone to dying? Maybe Agni?
I don't think it's Agni. Agni's got that super long dash. If anything, it's probably going to be Mordred. Mordred has a lot of sustain and a couple of small dashes, but unless he uses his big ultimate, he doesn't really have any other escape. River's Rebuke coming out in the mid lane. There's a lot of damage going out onto Narwhal. They are looking for Biohazard, however, as that dash is going to have him with that escape. Underclass Arrow is in the area, but Cyberpunk Otters are able to escape. Mythic Quick getting some pressure onto that soul lane as well.
And now we are seeing gold-wise at least 38k versus 41k. We are seeing currently a 3k differential in the favor of the Cyberpunk Otters. As the Far Out is kind of pulling the Queen Naga, but getting off of it once they're seen.
Narwhal and Kai are over on this left lane side looking for Sniffany. Sniffany was in the area, able to jump away, but the follow-up from Dr. Killjoy as he jumps over the wall as well, they are going to get that kill. Kai taking a lot of damage here. Underclass Hero kind of tanky himself, but is probably going to fall here. Kai using that shield in order to help get that extra damage. Dr. Killjoy getting the credit for that kill, as it is 2 kills for Cyberpunk Otters onto Underclass Hero and Sniffany.
And that must feel bad. Kai was so low and so close to death, yet so far.
And once again, Kai is now 4-0. After he was 5-0 in game 1, now 4-0 in game 2. I really got to go back to what I was saying during picks and bans. I can't believe they let Kai get this pick again. And it seems like I'm being proven right, as Kai is completely controlling this game once again in game 2.
It is quite surprising that they allowed the Cyberpunk Otters to essentially run the same exact draft that ran them in game 1. Maybe they thought the Odin was the biggest problem for them, and that's why they lost game 1. But right now, we're seeing this Nemesis shine.
Nemesis definitely continuing to shine. Kai proving to be a very good player and absolutely masterfully controlling this Nemesis. As Narwhal gets stunned, but not really that much damage potential yet, as Neith is still pretty early game, and she has to build up these stacks and get to that late game build before she really starts doing some serious damage.
And now, looking at all these builds right now, we do see Tahuti's coming out of Biohazard, which, isn't a big shock there. Every mid laner and their mothers, their fathers, everyone's building Tahuti right now.
Absolutely. And Cyberpunk Otters looking for this pressure on the Gold Fury side, as Life of the Party is going to pull Denny in. River's Rebuke in response, but it is not going to save his life, as it doesn't really matter. A lot of damage coming out onto this backside from Sniffany, but he is going to get jumped by Agni and Baron Samedi and has to jump away. Kai and Dr. Killjoy are able to escape there. However, this might delay the Gold Fury pull here, as potentially Far Out can try and create something of this situation, even though they lost their support.
I will say, Freak itself did a great job behind the wall, just dealing damage there. That was immense damage coming out of the Neith.
Yeah, we cannot understate how much damage Neith can do there as well. Looking at the damage stats, however, Mythic Quick, 15,000 damage, so far ahead of everybody else. Mythic really looking for opportunities here. Jumps onto Sonic Refugee in the 1v2 against Sonic Refugee and Sniffany. Tries to look for that Sniffany kill, but can't really complete it there. As we do see Gold Fury getting pulled by Cyberpunk Otters. Kai on the spacing here. Far Out, way too far away in order to do anything about it, but tries to get that damage out onto Kai. Kai so fast, however. Ult's coming out from the Mordred and is going to jump onto Sonic Refugee, and he is going to fall. Underclass Hero on the chase of this Agni. He is going to get the kill. How long is he going to live against these two, however? A lot of damage coming out, but not able to get anything more. Underclass Hero is going to fall there.
No, you see a 2-for-1 there, but you also see a Gold Fury, and, at this point, Cyberpunk Otters, they have all 3 Gold Furies, all 3 coins over there filled up, and you have to say, what is going wrong in these games for Far Out? Is it the draft? Is it the grouping? Is it the macro, the micro?
As Freak itself gets completely destroyed in that mid lane, River's Rebuke does get popped by Denny. However, Life of the Party is going to pull him in once again, nowhere to run, as 4 members of Cyberpunk Otters going to completely push down this middle lane. They are going to get that tower and are going to look for the Phoenix as well. Those 3 Gold Furies making it so that they can absolutely destroy these towers, but 2 people here for Far Out is going to get them to walk away and probably look for this Pyromancer, it looks like.
Cyberpunk Otters in a great place to just pull this Pyromancer, reset, and look towards a pretty mid-game Fire Giant here.
Definitely Sonic Refugee looking for a little bit of a situation here onto this right side. World Weaver going to go out onto the Mordred. Mordred having to pop that ultimate in order to get away. But as we see, another kill onto Sniffany elsewhere. I'm not even sure who got that kill.
Honestly, Sniffany just got deleted so quickly, it's almost impossible to see with everything going on.
Absolutely so aggressive here in this game once again. Cyberpunk Otters just able to completely control the game. Sniffany, unfortunately, on this late game carry is struggling to get to that late game, as he is now 0-4. Really just looking for these opportunities to farm, and it looks like he's getting jumped as he's trying to get there, and not enough protection coming out from Far Out in order to keep him alive. As we see the Mordred ultimate coming out again, looking for Sonic Refugee, has to ult in response. The Storm's Call getting pulled here. He's very tanky. The life of the party is going to pull him out once again out of that tower. A lot of damage coming out. Quick certainly going to be able to clean this up. There is the kill onto Sonic Refugee by this support and soul lane pairing in Cyberpunk Otters, and going to get the T1 as well.
Now, with this pick on Sonic Refugee, Cyberpunk Otters are in a great position to pull anything they desire. They could macro the farm, they could start pulling Fire Giant, which we see the Narwhal and we see Dr. Killjoy currently doing.
Yeah, Narwhal and Huyi, Dr. Killjoy pulling this Fire Giant. It is already a third of its HP gone. Far Out completely pressured out by McThickliquick and Biohazard here. Not even able to get anywhere near that Fire Giant, so probably going to get this Fire Giant completely for free. McThickliquick still keeping that spacing. Far Out so far away from that Fire Giant in order to contest it, and we are going to see the dagger picked up by Dr. Killjoy. Sniffany getting jumped here by Biohazard, stun coming out. World Weaver is going to hit Agni, but the beads is going to stop him from getting stunned. Sniffany getting absolutely jumped here once again. 4 members of Cyberpunk Otters getting that kill, as they are going to look for even more here.
And you know, at this point in the game, you have to say, what can Far Out do during these defenses in order to sustain themselves? And you know, I have asked that question a lot, right? How can they salvage something? How can they sustain themselves? What can Far Out do to stay in this game, if they're in this game right now?
Probably do a little bit more grouping. We're seeing too many times members of Far Out getting jumped on by 3 or 4 people on their own and just getting absolutely destroyed. Sniffany, for example, there getting picked once again. I believe Underclass Hero and Freak itself has been picked a couple of times. So it looks to me like a grouping issue so far this game. We are 22 minutes in. It is now 18-4 in favor of Cyberpunk Otters, and almost a 10,000 gold lead, certainly going to be a 10,000 gold lead as they get another Gold Fury.
I see. Yeah, I completely agree. Maybe they're just not showing face to these objectives. And even in the early game, you see Cyberpunk Otters grouping S3, ganking, showing presence. And I feel like Underclass is currently failing to show that same presence Kai has throughout the set so far.
We are going to see the 5-man push from Cyberpunk Otters onto this left side Phoenix. As the ult comes out from Mordred, gets the hit onto McThickliquick, going up into the air. We're going to see a bunch of damage comes out. River's Rebuke and Storm's Call in response, trying to get as much damage as possible. Underclass Hero, a lot of damage and a lot of ultimates coming out. Underclass Hero, very low here, is going to fall to Dr. Killjoy. More people jumping in. McThickliquick looking for a little bit more, has to run out because that tower is going to deal so much damage. Sonic Refugee getting the kill there. Kai jumping in, looking for Freak itself. Denny going to fall, and Kai as well. We are down to 3 and 3. Dr. Killjoy still has that dagger, however. So that threat is still available as Cyberpunk Otters choosing to take their losses here, 2 for 2, and going to fall back.
I did just say what can. Oh, they're still looking.
Oh, they're still looking. Sonic Refugee kind of getting jumped here. The stun is going to miss from the Agni. A lot of damage coming out. Sonic Refugee is very tanky, though. And Dr. Killjoy perfectly timing that dagger as he gets full health and is going to jump back in onto the carry of Far Out. Sniffany having to jump away. More people going to fall. Sniffany is going to fall by Biohazard. Agni with the complete chase here. Freak itself having to jump over the wall in order to survive. A lot of damage coming out. Sonic looking for a kill on the backside. Storm's Call is going to finish off Dr. Killjoy as Biohazard is now alone here in the mid lane. Worldweaver going to come out. A lot of damage going to come out. Beads is going to be popped in order to try and get him out. Dashes away. Underclass Hero on the chase with the ultimate. River's Rebuke is going to help get that final damage there. Underclass Hero is very low here. He needs to be very careful, but has the backup of Denny, that extra healing from Yamodra doing so much, but Kai showing up at the perfect time. Underclass Hero going to fall there to Kai, goes back to the black and gray. A lot of fighting here, lots of deaths. Far Out not doing too bad, however. Denny is still getting chased away. Kai and McThickLeQuick on this chase. Are they going to be able to finish him off? Trying to get that wall off. Denny is going to fall to McThickLeQuick there. The rest of his team not able to show up in time and save Denny's life.
Far Out is showing they still have some bite left, right? Even if they're 10k down, even if they were 10k down, they are not leaving this game without a fight.
Yeah, this late game damage from Freak itself and Sniffany is starting to show its face. Mordred looks for the ult, completely misses it, however, and tries to escape as Sonic Refugee is on the chase here. Kai took a bunch of damage from Freak itself at the start of this little engagement here. Pyromancer starts to get pulled, but Cyberpunk Otters think better of it.
Now, what I'm currently seeing, right, there's a lot of damage coming out of Freak itself, but I do want to see the numbers up from Sniffany by the end of this game. Kali, very good late game carry. We should see what this Kali could do numbers-wise very soon.
Yeah, we certainly hope to see that as Pyromancer does get pulled by Cyberpunk Otters. Far Out not even going to show face onto this objective. Chaos Team getting that Pyromancer and getting that bomb.
Now, we just see both teams hovering right now, them setting up maybe an ambush here to kill Far Out. Maybe they'll... Oh, they're looking.
Kai did back there. Freak itself is going to get stunned there. Mordred ult coming out looking for Freak itself. Beads gets ripped here. Freak itself is going to fall. River's Rebuke trapping Biohazard low there, but able to walk away. Denny going to fall instead as the rest of Cyberpunk Otters is going to be able to clean that up. Underclass Hero looking for a little bit more. Kai completely destroying him, however, and suddenly 3 members of Far Out are gone as Cyberpunk Otters are going to be able to pull Fire Giant here, with Far Out not really being able to respond.
These team fights, it seems like Far Out is getting caught out of position just from all of Cyberpunk Otters. They're holding good corners, and they're just baiting really good fights.
They definitely are baiting those good fights, and Far Out looking for those opportunities to try and jump people, but every time they do, it seems like Cyberpunk Otters have 3 people just on the other side of a corner and able to back up their team member who gets jumped onto, and just, there's not enough quick damage from Far Out to be able to get those picks and get back out.
Yes, and right now, if they're not grouped up, right, and they keep on getting cornered like this, then Sniffany isn't going to have the opportunity to deal this damage. I feel like in 5v5s, with a Yemo right in front of Sniffany right now, I feel like Sniffany could do immense damage on this Kali.
Agreed. Kali needs to be able to output that damage in the late game. Hasn't really had that opportunity yet. He keeps getting jumped and hasn't been able to farm very effectively. He is now level 20 and has 5 items, so maybe we could see a little bit more coming out from Kali. But Cyberpunk Otters seem to be doing a pretty good job of locking Kali down and not giving him the opportunity to really do anything. As we do see Cyberpunk Otters are grouping on this left side, probably going to push this Phoenix, and Kai with the dagger split pushing this mid lane.
We do see around 4 members of Cyberpunk Otters trying to siege this Phoenix over here. And we're going to see what type of defense Far Out can pull out here.
They are certainly going to try, however, they need to be careful of Kai. With that dagger and a wave, Kai can absolutely shred a Phoenix here if they are not careful. Underclass Hero kind of hovering in the mid ground, trying to respond to Kai. Kai is going to switch over to this left side as Mordred gets popped here, goes into the back. Stormcall tries to space them out, but doesn't hit anybody. And Mordred on the backside able to completely destroy Sniffany here. Again, Sniffany not really being given any space to work with. Freak itself looking for a little bit of damage, but Narwhal and Biohazard able to keep him out. Biohazard has to dash away as Underclass Hero looks for a little bit of damage. Gets the Scourge out onto Kai, but Kai really not concerned at all, completely tanking that extra shield that Nemesis has, able to keep his health up as all 3 Phoenixes fall for Far Out. Cyberpunk Otters are going to look for this Titan, a lot of damage coming out, trying to space out whoever they can. Kai keeping people away, River's Rebuke spacing out, but not going to be enough as Cyberpunk Otters do get the kill onto this Titan and win this set 2-0.
I guess you can say this set win was a bit Far Out's way.
It definitely was. Once again, we've got to shout out Kai here. In both of these games, completely dominating on this Nemesis, going 10-2 and 7-1. So much damage, so much tankiness coming out of Kai. Had complete control from minute 0 to minute 30 on both games.
I also do like a lot of these builds. McThickly Quick with just the Bluestone at the end is always a funny stat line to see when players do that. Always puts a smile on my face.
McThickly Quick also pumping out a lot of damage in both games. Gotta shout him out as well. Definitely, when you're looking at playing against the Cyberpunk Otters team in the Ishtar division, you gotta be careful of Kai and McThickly Quick after that game. They completely controlled the game in all respects from minute 0 on. You really got to figure out how to respond to them if you're going to try and play well against Cyberpunk Otters.
This entire squad here from Cyberpunk Otters, they all played so well together. From Narwhal, Dr. Killjoy, McThickly Quick, Kai, and even Biohazard being a staple, you could tell they have a lot of good chemistry.
I cannot agree more. Well, that's going to be it for us today on this Cyberpunk Otters and Far Out matchup in the Ishtar division. Thank you all for joining us once again in the Babylon Smite League, and we will see you all real soon.